We want to welcome the minister. Come and join us. And Dr. Mujib Shakir as well. Okay. Good morning to the press, and thank you for all of you for coming. The purpose of this press conference is for the city of Tuskegee to officially welcome the Nation of Islam here to the city of Tuskegee, Alabama. As you will recall, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, almost said the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan was here about 3 months ago and received a great reception, and we had a great time with him, and we appreciated very much the work that he was involved in terms of nation building, economic empowerment, the fight against black-on-black crime, developing educational programs for our people. In other words, positive things that help African Americans as a people and as a race to develop their potential. The whole idea is not to be concerned about what other people are doing, but what we need to do for ourselves to stay positive. And so at that particular time, we talked about the possibility of his continuing to work with us here in Tuskegee in terms of economic development and empowerment. And we talked about having here in Tuskegee, Alabama, the Holy Day of Atonement, and also having the 18th anniversary of the Million Man March. Now, we all know that the Honorable Louis Farrakhan is the only man alive who was able to attract more than 1 million men and some women who were there as well. But the Million Man March was the largest gathering on the nation's capital, inviting people from across the country. And this man led that movement. And what's significant about it, they came together in a spirit of atonement. They came together and talked about positive things, economic development. They talked about education. They talked about the fight against drugs and abuse in our community. They talked about respect for our women. Thousands and more than 1 million came. There was no one got drunk, no one got into a fight, not a piece of paper was left on the ground. Those men and women who came from across the nation left there inspired and on a positive note. Well, if they could do that in Washington, D.C., you can do it in Tuskegee, Alabama. And that's why we're opening up our city and opening up our arms for them to come to Tuskegee for their Holy Day of Atonement. And we want to recognize the 18th anniversary of the Million Man March. I was involved in that. I worked very hard with the minister at that time. And not only that, what's going to be different about this is the recent 50th anniversary of the March on Washington brought together many from across the nation. But the Nation of Islam was not there. It was not an active part of that effort. This time, we're going to have everyone invited. Anyone who's interested in fighting for voting rights, for jobs, for justice, economic empowerment, they are going to be welcome in our community and to participate. Minister Farrakhan has already called for a meeting of national leaders. It makes no sense to go to Washington and commemorate a march and to celebrate what happened 50 years ago. We need to come together now and concentrate on the next 50 years. Because we still have black-on-black crime. We still have our people dropping out of school. We still need health care. We still need money in our pockets. We still need businesses and development. And we're still fighting those people who are trying to take away our voting rights and our economic rights. And so the job is not over. Dr. King's dream has still not been totally realized. So the work has only just begun. That's why I am happy to join forces with Minister Louis Farrakhan, and together we are going to fight for our people and fight for justice and equality in this nation. There may be some who are afraid and timid to embrace the Nation of Islam. I am proud to stand with my brother because he stands for positive things. And this has nothing to do with being anti-white or anti-Jewish or anything of that sort. They can do whatever they want to do. What we're concerned about is the liberation of black people and African Americans and poor people and people who need help. Those are the people we're concerned about. We're not antagonistic against anyone else. We have a job to do. And that job is to save our people and to save ourselves. And we can do it. We're not coming with our hands out and begging anyone to give us anything. Just move, as Brother James Brown said, just move over and we'll get it for ourselves. We want our equal place in society. And what better place than to have it than Tuskegee, Alabama, the home of Tuskegee University. And this time the community is hosting, the total community. Last time the university hosted, they did an excellent job, but this time I've spoken to Dr. Roshan, and he's agreed that this time the city will take the lead, the total community. And that's the way it should be, because the community was here first. There would be no Tuskegee University had it not been for Lewis Adams, a man from the community who conceived the idea. The Tuskegee Airmen, this is the home of the Tuskegee Airmen. Mrs. Rosa Parks was born in Tuskegee, Alabama. So this is the most historic city in the world as far as I'm concerned. I am mayor of Tuskegee, Alabama, the pride of the swift-growing South. And that's why we welcome the minister to come. Give him a round of applause, Minister Ishmael Muhammad, as he comes.
Thank you. Good morning. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We give greetings to our Mayor, Johnny Ford, to the City Council, distinguished leaders of the city of Tuskegee. We are honored to be here this morning to announce officially that the Million Man March, the 18th anniversary of that historic day, the Holy Day of Atonement, will be here in the city of Tuskegee.
Thank you.
On the weekend of the 20th of October. Greetings of peace, and I bring you greetings from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and his joyful expectation of a memorable event and observance to be held on Sunday, the 20th of October, in commemoration of that day that has already been mentioned, which was a very blessed and marvelous and magnificent day that God blessed us with 18 years ago, when nearly 2 million black men gathered on the National Mall in Washington, D.C. in the spirit of atonement and reconciliation. Our coming to Tuskegee is very, very important. It affords us the opportunity to focus the poor of this nation, and in particularly the black community, on what we must do. It affords the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan the opportunity to remind black people of America of those great and noble principles that Booker T. Washington laid down and established, which was self-knowledge, self-reliance, self-help, commerce, industry, agriculture. Booker T. Washington, Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, all advanced a solution to our problem and for the better security of us as a people, now nearly 50 million, that in order for us to secure our future, we have to develop our own economy. For Booker T. Washington said that at the bottom of society, at the bottom of education, at the bottom of politics, even at the bottom of religion is economics. And in order to develop a sound economics, there must be the acquisition of land. The human being and people cannot survive without the land. So real wealth and the building of wealth begins with the acquisition of land. So Minister Louis Farrakhan looks forward to coming back to Tuskegee and reintroducing Muhammad's economic program to fight against poverty and want, and to bring the message of the time that we're living in and what we must do as a people, as a community, to save ourselves. As the mayor said, it is about what we must do. Yes. And we as a people have to pull up our own bootstraps, drop our buckets where we are, and go to work to build a future for ourselves. And in building a future for ourselves, founded on those principles of self-reliance and self-help, we will be a greater asset to America, a greater asset to this country when we take responsibility to build our community, build ourselves up. This is what we must do. Again, to the mayor, to the city of Tuskegee, we thank you on behalf of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan for extending this invitation to us to be here, and we're looking forward to a joyous, memorable occasion and observance of the Million Man March.
Mr. Minister,
thank you.
We're going to have to ask Dr. Muja Shakur to come.
Absolutely.
I know it's always good when a man invites you, but we're going to give the feminine touch as well. So
because it is open to all.
Yes,
that's right. Very important. Thank you for this opportunity. I am Muja Shakir. I'm here to not only sort of represent, the feminine energy,
yes,
but the community as a whole.
Yes.
I am a educator and a community activist most of my adult life. After finishing high school was when I became concerned about the conditions of my people and followed the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and continue to watch the Nation of Islam in all of its initiatives and endeavors. So the opportunity to be a part of a program that involves the Nation of Islam is something that I would readily accept. I live here in Tuskegee and I work here in Tuskegee. I love the place, Macon County. I love the vision of what it is that we're trying to do, the idea of being diverse. I believe that where you have diversity of opinions and diversity of thought, diversity of religious ideas, you have more intelligence. And so it only makes sense that we learn to coexist and that we develop not just tolerance, but deep respect for one another. Yes. I'm actively involved in two organizations. One is called the Black Belt Deliberative Dialogue Group that works with both students and members of the community to engage them in meaningful dialogue. This is something that's very, very important for the Black community, that where we have differences, where we have issues that we need to address, we have to be able to talk about them first and foremost. And through a rich dialogue of listening, we can create a greater civic engagement, get people more involved in solving their own problems, and then move to actions. So that's the Black Belt Deliberative Dialogue Group. We have another group called the Emotional Emancipation Circles that was founded by a lovely sister, Enola Aird, and then adopted and co-sponsored by the National Association of Black Psychologists. This is a very, very important initiative, and both of these groups are very much in alignment with the kinds of things that the Nation of Islam has stood for since the 1930s. And so it's very befitting that we come together. We will be reaching out to all organizations in the community to try to build this event. We want the diversity, as I mentioned before. It's going to be key. And we look that this event will be the beginning of something really new and very, very beautiful that we will continue to build on the legacy of self-reliance. I happen to believe that the works of Booker T. Washington and the works of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad are not that far apart. Maybe some of the approaches may be different, but certainly the strategies of freedom and justice and liberation for our people was one and the same.
Yes.
So I'm happy to be a part of this, and again, I'll be trying to pull together other groups so that we can make this a great, great occasion.
So welcome my co-chair. Now, we're going to very briefly open it up for any questions for the minister. But basically, what has been proposed is starting on Friday, we're going to open up our community for visitors from around the country. We want them, while they are here, to visit the university and see the school and the university. And I understand there will be an orientation held for students and their parents so they can learn what they need to do to attend Tuskegee University. And I believe other black colleges are going to be invited as well, other HBCUs. Also, we are going to ask the National Park Service to open up the Tuskegee Airmen National Historic Site so that they can get a pre-look. We're going to have the official opening in November, but while all of these people are here, we want them to see the work and the courage of the Tuskegee Airmen. And we also want them to know that if they're going to offer a day of service, we want it. When groups and conventions now go into cities, just like when we had the Million Man's March, and also when we had the March on Washington, many of us went into Washington and went out into the community and painted up, picked up paper, fed the hungry, visited senior citizens, gave tutorial programs. Many groups do that now instead of just having a gathering in a city. Come into that community and offer some service. And so all of you distinguished gentlemen who are in your nice black suits and bow ties, we want you to pull them off and roll up your sleeves and help us fix up Tuskegee. Paint up, clean up, because I want downtown Tuskegee to look like the pride of the swift-growing South. So we accept your offer for a day of service. Can I get an amen? And then, of course, we want to set aside Sunday for the day of service, and we'll leave that to you. But now, Mr. Minister, come in case there are any questions. Any questions from our press? We have Jackie. Thank you for being here. And any questions of the minister? Or you may want to take this opportunity to expound more on what you foresee for the weekend.
Well, I think you did a thorough and exceptional job.
Actually,
yes, please.
What do we, the community, need to do to get you all prepared for the day of service? Do we need to give you a list of items or activities that needs to be done here so that you all would know what to do or look forward to?
Great.
We hope during the course of the day during our visit here this morning, that we will get those details and find out the best way for us to know exactly and specifically what services the community needs, so that we can take that back and prepare our people to come in on that weekend. And even prior, we've discussed, because of so many activities scheduled on the weekend of the 20th, that we would start doing some of those services the week prior, or even 2 weeks prior.
Oh, great.
Maybe just devote the whole month of October to service to the community.
That's great,
Thank you.
great. And we're going to, this is going to be a working committee. Dr. Secure is going to recruit others, and anyone who wishes to be a part of the committee, we want them to be involved. I see the chief and his associates are here. We're going to make sure that security is taken care of. We're going to make sure the transportation and circulation, make sure that we have the sound, everything. We're going to lay it out for you. Tuskegee is a small town, but we prepare every year for homecoming when many people come. I don't care if 1 million people come. I want the whole world to come to little old Tuskegee, because we want the eyes of the nation to be on this positive event.
Thank you.
Any questions from the media?
Unfortunately,
Yeah, no, that's good. Take your time.
One of the things I want to do is to get the young females in Macon County involved. How can we get young ladies involved so that they can be
Yeah.
influenced on
Yes,
Yeah.
we support. Yes, you
Well, I
may.
think the first thing we should do is to get our committee together and
Right.
brainstorm these ideas. I think this is a great question, and it really is something that we should do. Get our young women involved and our young men.
Yes.
We don't want this to be, like we say, just talking to the choir. You know, we want to really reach the people that need to be reached. And so I think that we can come up with some good ideas to have that done, and I hope you'll be a part of the committee.
Exactly, great, okay. Well, no questions, if none, we're ready to get to work. Let's make it happen. Thank you, my brother. Let's do it. Right, let's do it. For the benefit of the media, the minister tomorrow, this evening, they're ready for you in Selma. And tomorrow he will be in the Montgomery area. And then you'll join us, Mr. Minister, in Birmingham. In Birmingham, they are commemorating the 50th anniversary of tragic 1963. That was perhaps one of the most turbulent and most tragic years in the history of the United States of America. The 4 little girls and 2 others were killed. Children were killed in Birmingham. They're commemorating that, and the U.S. Conference of Mayors is there today. Kelvin Johnson, who is the first Vice President of the U.S. Conference of Mayors and President of the National Conference of Black Mayors, he and those of us who are mayors will be in Birmingham supporting Mayor William Bell, who has invited the nation to Birmingham to participate in that commemoration. On Saturday, Mr. Minister, we would want you to join us for the SOS Leadership Summit meeting that will be held in Montgomery at the historic 16th Street Baptist Church.
In Birmingham.
The meeting that you addressed here at Tuskegee last month will be having its second meeting in Birmingham, where it is a group of more than 27 leaders from across the state of Alabama who have come together into an alliance, and we'll be meeting. And of course, we're so pleased that the Nation of Islam is a part of that alliance, as you were when we were here the last time. So from 1 to 4 is when you will be with us at the 16th Street Baptist Church. And then on Sunday, that will be the actual day, and they'll commemorate the actual day and hour that the bombing occurred, when the 4 precious little girls lost their lives. That program will be held at the 16th Street Baptist Church, and that service will be held then. So we're looking forward to having the nation be involved in all of our activities. And we want you to also address the board of the National Conference of Black Mayors while you're there, so that these mayors from across the nation, from California and wherever, can take the word back and know that they are invited to come back to Tuskegee on the weekend of October the 20th.
Thank you
Okay?
for the honor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all so much. We're gonna go to work now.